Hello everyone and welcome to Learn English with Student Studio.
That's right. I'm Tom.
And I'm Emma. We're so glad you could join us today for another episode focused on making your English learning journey a little bit easier and, well, more practical.
Absolutely. Our goal here at Student Studio is always to help you use English in real life. Not just in textbooks, you know?
Exactly. And today we're going to dive right into that. We're talking about English you actually use every single day.
Yes, that's right. We're calling this episode, A Day in the Life, English You Actually Use.
We thought it would be super helpful to walk through a typical day from the moment you wake up until you go to bed and highlight all those common practical English phrases and words that native speakers use all the time.
Yeah, it's those little phrases that often don't get a lot of attention in traditional lessons, but they're so important for sounding natural and understanding everyday conversations.
So, whether you're a student, someone working, or just living life in an English-speaking environment, this episode is for you. We'll break down the day into different parts and give you some key vocabulary and phrases for each one.
And remember, the goal isn't just to listen. It's to practice these phrases. Try to use them in your own daily life. That's how they'll really stick.
So, grab a cup of coffee or whatever you like to drink, get comfortable, and let's get started with our day. We're going to begin, of course, with the morning routine.
All right, Emma, so let's start at the very beginning of the day. What's the first thing that usually happens for most people?
Oh, well, for me, and I think for many people, it's the alarm clock. So, a very common phrase is, my alarm goes off.
Yes, goes off. It rings, it makes noise. So, my alarm goes off at 6 a.m. Or, my alarm goes off really early.
Exactly. And what's the next thing you often do, Tom, after your alarm goes off? Be honest.
Oh, sometimes I hit snooze.
Haha, I knew it. Hit snooze is a great one. It means you press the button to make your alarm stop for a few minutes, usually 5 or 10, so you can sleep a little longer.
Yeah, just 5 more minutes, right? It's never enough. So you hit snooze. And maybe you hit snooze, 3 times.
Yes, that's definitely a common morning ritual for many of us. So after you finally get up or, drag yourself out of bed, what's next in the morning routine?
Well, typically I head to the bathroom. And there, you'll definitely brush your teeth. That's a must.
Absolutely. Brush your teeth. Or you might wash your face. And then for some people, it's a quick shower. So take a shower.
Right, take a shower. And if you have long hair, you might also wash your hair. Simple, everyday actions.
And after the shower, you get dressed. You put on your clothes. So you can say, I need to get dressed, or I'm getting dressed.
Yeah, get dressed is very common. Sometimes people say, put on clothes, but get dressed is more natural. So you're dressed, your teeth are brushed. What's next? Probably some food, right?
Oh, definitely. Breakfast is a big part of the morning for many. You might make coffee first thing, or make some tea.
Yeah, make coffee is very important for a lot of people to, really wake up. And then for breakfast, you can have breakfast or eat breakfast.
And what if you're in a hurry, Tom? What do you do for breakfast then?
If I'm in a hurry, I often grab a quick bite. This means eating something small and fast, like maybe a piece of fruit or some toast.
Exactly. You don't cook breakfast if you're grabbing a quick bite. You just, take something easy. Or you might just have a bowl of cereal. That's a common one too.
Yes, a bowl of cereal. Or you might say, I'm having toast and jam. Or, I'm making scrambled eggs. So, those are just a few of the very first phrases you'll hear and use as soon as you wake up. From your alarm going off, to hitting snooze, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, getting dressed, and then, of course, making coffee, and grabbing a quick bite for breakfast.
And remember, these aren't just for, formal English lessons. These are the words you'll hear from friends, from family, from coworkers, just in everyday conversation. Practice saying them out loud. Imagine your own morning routine and try to describe it using these phrases. It really helps them stick.
Absolutely. And after breakfast, it's usually time to, well, leave the house. Which brings us to our next segment.
That's right, Tom. After you've had your breakfast and you're all dressed, it's time to head out. And for many people, the next part of their day involves commuting.
Yes, commuting. That's how you travel from your home to work or school. And there are many ways to commute. For example, some people drive to work.
Right, drive to work. And if you drive, you might use your car. Simple. But if you live in a big city like London or New York, you might take the subway.
Yes, take the subway. Or in London, they call it the tube. You might also take the bus or take the train. So, take the plus the type of public transport.
Exactly. Or if you live close enough, maybe you walk to work. That's nice, for exercise.
Yeah, walk to work. That's my favorite, actually. No traffic. Speaking of traffic, that's a big part of commuting, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. If you drive, you often get stuck in traffic. This means the cars are moving very slowly or not at all. It's frustrating.
It is. So you can say, I was stuck in traffic for an hour this morning. Or, the traffic was really bad today.
Yes, traffic was bad. Or sometimes you might hear rush hour. This is the time in the morning and evening when a lot of people are commuting, so there's more traffic.
Good point, Emma. Rush hour is when everyone is going to or from work. So you're on your way whether you're driving or taking public transport. And sometimes you don't go straight to work, right? You might have some small tasks to do.
Exactly. We call these errands. Small tasks you need to do, like going to the post office or the dry cleaners. You run errands.
Run errands. That's a great phrase. It means you do a few small jobs. For example, I need to run some errands after work.
Yeah, so you might pick up groceries. This means you go to the supermarket and buy food. Pick up is used for getting something.
Right, pick up. Like, I need to pick up my dry cleaning. Or, I'm going to pick up a coffee. It means to go and get something.
And the opposite of pick up can be drop off. Like if you're taking your child to school, you drop them off at school.
Oh, that's a good one. Drop off. You take something or someone to a place and leave them there. I need to drop off this package at the post office.
Perfect. And sometimes when you're out and about, running errands or commuting, you might see someone you know unexpectedly. What do we say then, Tom?
That's when you run into someone. It doesn't mean you hit them with your car. It means you meet them by chance, by accident.
Exactly. Like, I ran into my old friend at the supermarket today. It's a nice surprise sometimes.
Yeah, run into someone. Very common, very useful. So, just to recap, when you're on the go, you might drive to work, take the subway, or bus, or walk.
And watch out for traffic and rush hour. You might get stuck in traffic.
And then, doing those everyday tasks, you run errands. You might pick up groceries, or drop off a package.
And who knows, you might even run into someone you know. All very common and practical phrases for getting around and getting things done.
Right, so you've done your errands, you've commuted, and now you've arrived. Whether it's to your office, a classroom, or maybe even your home office like many of us now. This is when the productive hours begin.
Exactly. And this part of the day, whether you're working or studying, uses a lot of specific English phrases. Let's start with a very common one for work. Have a meeting.
Yes, have a meeting. You sit with other people to discuss things. So, you can say, I have a meeting at 10 a.m. Or, we had a long meeting this morning.
Very useful. And what do you often do after a meeting or just generally during the day at work? You send an email.
And during meetings or when you're studying, it's really important to take notes. This means writing down important information so you don't forget it.
Take notes. Absolutely. So, I took a lot of notes during the lecture today. Or, please take notes during the meeting. It's about writing down key points.
Moving on, if you're working on something bigger, you might say you're working on a project. This could be a big task or assignment.
That's right. I'm working on a new project. Or if you're a student, you might say, I need to work on my essay tonight. It means you're busy doing a specific task.
And for students, a big one is study for an exam. This means you're preparing for a test. I need to study for my English exam tomorrow.
Yes, study for an exam. Or just study. Like, I spent all weekend studying. Another related phrase is do research.
Oh, do research is great. This means you look for information, maybe in books or on the internet, to learn more about a topic. I'm doing research for my presentation.
And speaking of presentation, that's when you show your work or ideas to others. I have to give a presentation next week.
That can be a bit scary, right? But it's a common part of work and study. Now, sometimes when you're working or studying, you might need to really focus on your work.
Focus on your work. That means you pay close attention and try not to get distracted. I really need to focus on my work to meet this deadline.
Good word, deadline. That's the specific time or date when something must be finished. The deadline for this report is Friday.
And when you meet that deadline, you usually hand in or turn in your work. They both mean you submit it. I need to hand in my homework by 5 p.m.
Yes, hand in or turn in. Very useful verbs for students. Now, what if you're in a meeting or a class and you don't understand something? This happens all the time when you're learning English, Emma.
Yes, it does, Tom. So it's really important to know how to ask for help or ask for clarification. These phrases are so useful.
Absolutely. You can simply say, could you explain that again, please? Or, I don't quite understand. Could you clarify?
Could you clarify? That's a good one. It means, could you make it clearer or easier to understand? You can also say, could you repeat that, please, if you didn't hear something?
Exactly. Or, if you're not sure about a word, you can ask, what does deadline mean? Don't be afraid to ask. It helps you learn.
It really does. So, to recap the productive hours phrases, you might have a meeting, send an email, or take notes. You could be working on a project or studying for an exam, maybe even doing research.
And remember to focus on your work to meet that deadline. And if you need to, ask for help or ask for clarification.
Super important. Knowing these phrases makes your work or study life so much smoother, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, Emma. And after all that hard work and focusing, what's the next best part of the day?
Oh, I know this one. It has to be lunchtime. Or, a break.
Exactly. So, let's talk about breaking time, lunch, and afternoon English. This is all about those phrases you use when you're taking a break, eating, and then, heading towards the end of your work or study day.
Yeah, like when it's around noon or 1 o'clock, what's the first thing you usually think? Time to grab lunch.
Grab lunch. That's a great, very natural phrase. It means to quickly get something to eat for lunch. You could say, I'm going to grab lunch at the cafe. Or, do you want to grab lunch together?
Or if someone asks you, are you going to grab lunch? You know they're asking if you're eating soon. Another common question when you're with someone is, what are you having for lunch?
That's a classic. What are you having? It's just asking what food you plan to eat. You might reply, I'm having a sandwich, or I brought leftovers from home.
Or you could say, I'm not sure yet, or I'm still deciding. And maybe you go out for lunch with colleagues, meaning you leave your workplace to eat.
Or if you bring your own food, you might eat at your desk, which many people do, especially if they're busy. Or you eat in the break room.
Yeah, the break room is that common area where people take breaks and eat. It's not just for lunch, though. You might also take a coffee break or take a short break to stretch your legs.
Good point. Take a break is very general. It just means to stop working for a short time. I need to take a break, I'm feeling tired. And sometimes during a break, you might chat with colleagues. Just have a relaxed conversation.
Absolutely. So after lunch, you go back to work or study for the afternoon. And as the afternoon goes on, people start thinking about finishing up.
Oh yeah, the afternoon lull, and then the energy picks up again as you get closer to, 5 o'clock or when your day ends. A common phrase is, wrap things up.
Wrap things up. This means to finish what you're doing, to complete your tasks. For example, I need to wrap things up before I leave. Or, let's try to wrap up this meeting.
It's like putting a bow on a present, isn't it? Finishing it neatly. Another one is finish up for the day.
Yes, finish up for the day. This means you're completing your work or studies and are ready to leave. I'm going to finish up for the day early today.
And then after you've wrapped things up and finished up for the day, what do? You head home.
Head home. Very simple, very direct. It means to go to your house. I'm going to head home now. Or, what time do you usually head home?
It's more common than saying, go home. Head home sounds more natural in everyday speech. And sometimes you might leave work or leave school.
True. What time do you leave work is a very common question. And if you're going somewhere else right after, you might say, I'm off to the gym after work.
I'm off to is a good phrase meaning you're going somewhere. So, let's recap these breaking time and afternoon phrases.
During lunch, you might grab lunch and people will ask, what are you having?
You could go out for lunch or eat at your desk. And remember to take a break and maybe chat with colleagues.
And as the day winds down, you wrap things up, finish up for the day, and then you head home.
Or leave work. These phrases really describe that transition from peak productivity to winding down the day, don't they?
They really do, Tom. And once you've headed home or left work, what's next? It's time to, wind down.
Yes. Winding down, evening activities and hobbies. This is my favorite part of the day. It's all about what you do after work or study to relax and, get ready for the next day.
Exactly. So, what's one of the first things many people do to relax or stay active after a long day? Some people like to hit the gym.
Hit the gym. That means to go to the gym to exercise. Like, I usually hit the gym after work to de-stress. It's a very common phrase.
It is. Or maybe you go for a run outside or go for a walk if you prefer something less intense.
Yeah, go for a run or go for a walk are great ways to, clear your head. But not everyone is super active in the evening. What about those quiet evenings at home?
Good point. For many, a quiet evening involves perhaps reading a book or, just sitting down with a good story.
Oh, I love to read a book before bed. It helps me, relax and forget about the day.
Or a very popular activity is to watch TV. This could be watching a movie or binge watching a show.
Binge watching a show means watching many episodes of a TV series one after another, usually without stopping for a long time. It's very common now with streaming services.
Certainly is. And besides entertainment, evenings often involve some, household chores, don't they?
Oh yes, the less fun part of winding down. For example, you might need to cook dinner.
Yes, cook dinner or make dinner. It means to prepare a meal for the evening. What are you cooking for dinner tonight is a common question.
Or if you don't cook, you might order takeout or get delivery. That's when food comes to your house.
True. And after dinner, there's often the chore of doing the dishes or washing the dishes.
Ugh, doing the dishes? Nobody's favorite. You might also do laundry.
Ah, do laundry. That means washing your clothes. I need to do laundry this evening. I'm out of clean shirts.
Or maybe you just tidy up a bit, which means to make your living space neat and organized.
So after all that, whether it's exercise, quiet time, or chores, the main goal is often to relax or unwind.
Unwind. That's a nice word. It means to relax after a period of work or tension. Like, I like to unwind by listening to music.
Yes, or you might say you just want to take it easy. This means to relax and not do anything too strenuous. I just want to take it easy tonight.
So, to summarize some of these evening phrases, after work, you might hit the gym or go for a run.
You could also read a book or watch TV or maybe even binge watch a show.
For chores, you cook dinner, do the dishes, or do laundry.
And the main goal is to relax, unwind, or take it easy after your long day.
These phrases are so useful for talking about your personal time, aren't they? What you do to recharge.
Absolutely, Tom. And after all that unwinding, a very important part of the evening for many people is, of course, dinner.
Yes, nighttime rituals, dinner and bedtime phrases. This is where we talk about what happens around the dinner table and then getting ready for sleep.
That's right. So let's start with dinner. Before you eat, you often need to set the table. What does that mean, Tom?
Set the table means to put plates, forks, knives, spoons, and glasses on the table for a meal. Like, can you please set the table?
Certainly is. And once the food is ready and the table is set, what do you usually say to invite people to eat? You might say, dinner's ready, or come and get it. And then, a very polite and common phrase, especially if you're serving food, is help yourself.
Yeah, help yourself means, take whatever food you want. You don't need to wait for someone to serve you. It's like, don't be shy, help yourself to more pasta.
Exactly. And after everyone has eaten, what happens then? Well, someone usually needs to clear the table. Clear the table means to take all the empty plates and cutlery from the table. It's the opposite of setting it.
And then, of course, usually it's time to do the dishes or wash up, which we mentioned before. But sometimes you might put away leftovers.
Put away leftovers means to store any food that wasn't eaten, usually in containers, to eat another time. It's great for saving food and money.
It really is. So, after dinner and cleaning up, the evening moves towards, getting ready for bed. This is where we talk about bedtime routines.
Yes, the steps you take to prepare for sleep. One of the first things many people do is get ready for bed. This is a general phrase for everything you do before actually climbing into bed.
That could include things like brushing your teeth. Very important for good oral hygiene.
Definitely. Or maybe taking a shower if you didn't in the morning, or perhaps putting on pajamas.
Putting on pajamas, those are comfortable clothes you wear for sleeping. And then you might read a book or watch TV to relax, like we talked about earlier.
Yes, but often, especially for parents, they might read a bedtime story to their children.
Read a bedtime story. That's a lovely phrase. It's when a parent or guardian reads a story to a child right before they go to sleep. It's a special moment.
It truly is. And then, after all the preparations, you eventually go to bed.
Go to bed. Simple, right? It just means to get into your bed for sleep. I'm tired, I'm going to bed now.
Or a slightly more informal phrase that means the same thing is turn in.
Turn in. Interesting. So, I'm going to turn in early tonight means I'm going to go to bed early tonight. That's a good one to know.
It is. And once you're in bed, the goal is to fall asleep.
Fall asleep means to begin sleeping. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. I couldn't fall asleep last night.
We've all been there. And if you have young children, you might tuck them in.
Tuck them in. Oh, that's a sweet phrase. It means to arrange the bedclothes around a child in bed so they are snug and warm. You might also say good night to them.
Yes, say goodnight is a simple but important phrase used when you're leaving someone for the evening or before you go to sleep.
So, let's quickly recap these nighttime phrases, Emma. After dinner, you might set the table and then clear the table.
And during dinner, you can say help yourself to encourage others to eat.
For bedtime, you get ready for bed, which includes things like brushing your teeth or putting on pajamas.
Parents might read a bedtime story or tuck in their children.
And finally, you go to bed or turn in and hopefully fall asleep.
These are all super common phrases for talking about the end of your day, aren't they? They describe those quiet, personal moments.
Wow, Emma, what a journey through a day in English. We started right from the moment the alarm goes off in the morning.
We really did, Tom. And we went all the way to turning in and falling asleep at night. It's amazing how many useful phrases we covered for every single part of the day, isn't it?
Absolutely. From grabbing a quick bite for breakfast, to being stuck in traffic on the commute, or even running into someone while doing errands.
And then during the productive hours at work or study, like having a meeting or sending an email. And then, of course, grabbing lunch and wrapping things up in the afternoon.
Don't forget those evening activities, like hitting the gym or cooking dinner, and those important nighttime rituals, like setting the table and even reading a bedtime story.
That's right. So many phrases that people use every single day. We really hope that today's episode has given you, our wonderful listeners, some really practical English phrases that you can start using right away.
Yes, that's the key. Practice, practice, practice. Try to remember 1 or 2 new phrases from each part of the day and use them. Even just thinking in English will help a lot.
Exactly. The more you use them, the more natural they'll become. And if you're not sure, just try. It's how we all learn, isn't it?
It really is. Well, that's all the time we have for today's episode of Learn English with Student Studio.
Thank you so much for joining us and spending this time with us. We always appreciate you listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
And next time, we're going to dive into another really interesting topic, maybe something about travel or shopping, who knows. We have so many exciting things planned to help you with your English journey.
We do. So be sure to tune in next time for more practical English lessons.
From Emma and me, Tom, stay well, keep practicing, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye, everyone.